Is he gonna be out for a while?
I'm not sure. I mean, apparently it was a pretty bad accident. He last night we were probably about an hour out from starting our game, and he messaged us saying just he messaged a picture of himself in an ambulance, and he says evidently I was in a wreck, and he said I don't remember what happened, but evidently I was in a wreck, and so he says I'm in an ambulance on the way to the hospital, and so
Yeah.
yeah,
Must have bonked his head or something, I guess.
that would be my guess.
Do you know if Brian's playing?
Yes, Brian said that he was going to be a little bit late, so we have a little bit of time here.
Oh, okay.
Something to do with the house that he's babysitting.
Mm.
How are you doing?
I'm alright. I'm just now seeing that Billy and Seal had their baby, so I'm looking at pictures of it.
Yes.
That's cool.
Okay. Yep, they had little William Lucian Winter.
That's cool.
And he has very chubby cheeks. So yeah, I guess we'll have to make up a new character for the baby. Level 1 human.
Well, we don't want them to get sliced in half like to me. So I
I
don't
know,
know.
I know, right? Maybe leave him back at the end for a while.
If they're in the bag of holding, are they safe? Does that work?
Well, yeah, except for this whole suffocation thing. I mean,
Okay, we can't send air with them. All right,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's not gonna work. Damn it.
So yeah, I don't know, probably this week I'm gonna start creating another room here and play in roll for our Wednesday night traveler game. Not necessarily ready to um, move us over just yet, but at least start putting in the groundwork for setting up the images and maps and whatnot. I really think that I mean I like roll for even for old school essentials, but I really think that it's gonna shine very well with Traveler. Mostly because Traveler lends itself more to the theater of the mind play than wanting to move miniatures around and whatnot. I mean, you can, but a lot of times with Traveler, you don't even need to move miniatures. You can just throw a deck plan of the ship up, and everybody knows what they're doing and where they're going. I mean, you might put a token down just so that somebody knows, or that they can remember where they're at. But aside from that, I really think it'll work well. So
Oh. It'll be nice to have just one program going too.
yes, a lot less resource intensive, and since the audio and video work so well here, that it, in a lot of ways it's superior. There are some things that Roll20 has that I really like, but then on the flip side of that, I realize that you don't really need them. So, like for instance, I love the ability to hold down the mouse button on the map and ping it. That's really cool. Um, and I mean, you can do the same thing though with the draw function. So I mean, it works. But the other thing that I like is the measurement tool, where you can just measure out how many squares. But then I realized that it's not really needed because Roll has essentially done what I've always wanted in divesting the game from focusing on the miniatures. Instead, it's focusing on the character sheet, so you don't necessarily need that that measurement tool as much.
Yeah, you can always count squares too. That's like what you do if you're playing in person.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's only been a handful of role playing game, or well, role playing and war games where where we had ribbon rulers so that we could lay out on the terrain, and most of the time that was solved by just simply buying terrain that was pre-marked. 1-inch hexes or 1-inch squares, what have you, and that it's easily remedied if you just buy the terrain that already has the markings on it.
Who wants to do something so easy like that?
I know, right? How absurd.
You want me to count squares? What?
I know. This game isn't about dragons. This is math. So I was telling Cameron, so you probably saw the message, Wes was in a car accident last night. He messaged us about an hour before game time for Traveler, and just a picture of himself on a gurney in an ambulance, and it just said, evidently I was in a wreck, I don't remember it, and
Oh shit!
I'm in an ambulance on my way to the hospital. So essentially, he woke up in the ambulance, had no idea what was going on.
Shit!
Yeah. And so he had a good sense of humor and whatnot last night. It seems like this morning he's moving a little bit slower. Of course, he's probably
last night he was on adrenaline and pain meds. Today,
right? Yeah, and I kind of knew last night. I'm surprised that he even got home this morning because, well, I guess not this morning. I guess it's probably later afternoon over there, but I'm surprised they didn't keep him because if.
Wait, where does he live?
He's over in Arkansas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Yes, it's where the Southern Pirates live. Yeah, he. I'm surprised because I mean, if you have hit your head hard enough, and obviously that's what happened, hit his head hard enough that he has no memory of the incident. That's that's a pretty serious concussion protocol. So, he's lucky to be out.
I guess they probably kept him like, hey, you made it through the night, you didn't die, okay, bye.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. They might have just been getting sick and tired of his jokes too. So, I guess
this one again.
Yeah, I guess the doctor, shortly after he had woken up, they asked him if he could write, and he says, "Well, I'm pretty talented. Do you want a song or a story?" and the doctor just looked at him with a blank look on his face, like he had no idea what he was talking about. He's like, evidently they want me to sign some forms. I'm fucked.
Oh, actually, no sense of humor here.
Yeah, he said that the cops had a better sense of humor than he did, and the cop had to tell him what had actually happened. He's like, yeah, some guy evidently pulled out and T-boned me, and fuck,
Oof.
that's rough having to hear it secondhand. So
Right? Like, la 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 la. Ow.
yeah, right, yeah. Why is my head hurt? What happened? So, welcome to Braunhaven. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. These guys, have been determining, reading between the lines. I think these guys are getting worn out on the dungeon, and but they don't have a whole lot left here to do. It sounds to me like they are planning to take a day trip back to the town of Braunhaven to offload some loot before going back on their main quest of trying to track down this duke that has moved into a local hunting manor in the area and is has been causing all sorts of problems, like tunneling beneath the town of Braunhaven, and he's just a pain in the ass. So we'll see which direction they go from here. But before we get started, we'd like to thank a friend of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They're just products that we really like. Today, we would like to thank Dogmight Games. Dogmight makes beautiful wooden tabletop accessories for your games, such as wooden DM screens, dice vaults, dice trays, dice towers. They have this really cool thing called the Player Vault. You should definitely check that out. It's kind of got a whole bunch of stuff all rolled into one, and including a plexiglass, etched plexiglass screen with your choice of character sheet on it. But they do all manner of things, and they have the ability to customize just about anything that you purchase. Usually, if you order something that's customized, it'll take about 6 to 8 weeks for it to ship from time of purchase. But they also have many items that they have in stock. So if you're in a hurry for a gift idea or something in that manner, check out their in-stock inventory. Those items will usually ship in 1 to 2 business days from time of purchase. We have a 10% discount code available for anybody that is interested. Just go and put stuff into your cart over on Dogmight Games, and you can then check out using the code FRIEND in all capital letters, and that will get you 10% off your total purchase. If you are a fan of the channel, we have a merch store as well. We've got t-shirts, including the Pirates of Draenax pirate flag t-shirt made by the wonderful Cameron. And we've got a fleece blanket and a beer stein that I generally use as a coffee mug because it works so great, and it's giganto. There are buttons. So yeah, 100% of the proceeds from that merch store go directly back into the channel, allowing us to purchase more books and map assets and art program subscriptions and all manner of things that go into laying out the maps and playing the games that we all love. So if you want to help out the channel, please go get yourself a t-shirt or a button or what have you, and we appreciate you. Speaking of Braunhaven, I am so close. I'm about halfway done with the second level of the Mines of Drothamstone, and yeah, it is quickly coming to culmination. I don't have a time frame, but we're literally down to weeks, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks at most. Of course, then it has to go to proofreading, and then it's going to go into layout, and then it can end up on Drive-Thru RPG and Big Geek Emporium to spread its wings into the wild, as they say, and make it into your hands. So it is coming very, very quickly, and I also think that I may. Well, I'm hoping that I'll be able to get some more work done on Shadow of the Petrovskis, the sequel adventure for Traveler. So, good things incoming. And I also announced to my player groups that I will be working on a different kind of source book for Braunhaven. It will be a book of magic and spells presented by the Archmage Tassadantalus, and so I have put out a call for custom spells that people's characters, for instance, if Alora creates a witch spell, that can go in there. Alora's whatever. Mavis could create a cleric spell, and that will go in there. I would say that the cleric spells would probably be less likely to have the character's name attached to them, unless, of course, that character went for something like sainthood or something of that, which is a possibility. I don't know. We'll have to look at that. But the other thing I'm planning on adding in is cantrips for magic users, illusionists, and necromancers. And cantrips traditionally are more of a they're more of an arcane thing. They're not a divine. You didn't find divine cantrips in the old days, and unlike 5th edition, you're not going to be able to just fire off cantrips, endlessly. The way that they generally work in 1st edition, AD&D, was that you get 4 cantrips per one first level spell slot, and so cantrips generally don't deal any damage. I think the only one that I found that did anything was exterminate, and it's not for anything other than like getting rid of roaches and rats and things of that manner. So if you want to make sure that your tower is roach free, you just cast exterminate. But that's coming. It'll also have some new magic items and things of that manner in it, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And you guys can look forward to seeing some new monsters. So I got the Kickstarter reward for Tome of Essential Horrors, which oddly enough they added Witherweed into Tome of Essential Horrors as well. And it is almost exactly the same as the one that I put in. So yeah, I'm glad that I'm confirmed in that I got the stats right on Witherweed. So, let's see, I need...
So how do we submit a spell, I guess? We have to come up with a spell?
You don't have to, but I mean, I would appreciate it. And of course that it's cool because your character's name will then forever be, hard-coded into the lore of Braunhaven. If you want to just send it to me on, through our Facebook Messenger group, that's fine.
Cool.
That's probably the easiest way to do it.
All right. Gotcha.
Maps. This is the... I want to say that this is the East Wing, I believe. Yes, it is. Right? No, it's not. Why did I pitch you yet? I know what I could do. I could... Okay. You guys are at the Eastern Gate, huh? Yes. All right. So we're on the 2M. Okay, so where we'd left off last week, you guys had gotten into a fight with a patch of witherweed up here, and right
Shit fucked up.
here, and Brian, being or Jackson rather, being a ranger had some knowledge to impart. The initial reaction was, "Hey, we're just going to light it on fire because fuck weeds." But Jackson stopped everybody because witherweed has this nasty tendency that if you light it on fire, it releases a toxic smoke that is exceptionally poisonous. And so, from here, you can see there are a couple of things. So where you are standing, this entire outdoor area here is all outdoors. This is a stone balcony, and then you've got a set of stairs that go down into the lower bailey there. And then over here, right here, is a set of stairs that lead up to a, what did I call this? Why is this? I see. So this is leads up to a bell tower. It's quite a large tower, and it is a two-story. 2 stories? Is that right? I want to say yes, that is. Yes, it is 2-story bell tower that is kind of built in a manner similar to like a nesting doll. So there is a wide bottom section that goes up to a larger section in the middle, and the bottom section is all enclosed. And at the top of this center section, right here, there is a second tower that kind of comes up out of the middle, and there's a bell at the top. And this is, unlike the chapel, this is a bell tower more for a much larger bell, kind of an alarm bell kind of thing. If the castle were to be under siege or something of that manner, that's what this tower would have been used for. And then, of course, you have directly in front of Alora, there's a door that leads into the eastern gatehouse here, and another door that leads in here.
Are we noticing any more weeds in the open area? Like if I take a peek over here?
So there are weeds and scrub grasses that have, grown up through the cracks of the masonry all throughout this outer balcony. And there are also the chunks of stone and masonry that have fallen off the castle and fallen to the ground here. But now that you've dealt with the witherweed, you can tell that it was slightly different from the rest of the weeds and scrub grass in the area. So you're not seeing any more examples of witherweed.
Okay, we're gonna go over here and I will check for traps. I've been doing a great job so far. 0 traps. So let's do it.
You're the best trap checker ever.
Wow.
Oh, that's a way to open it up. So, so you don't find any traps, but you do find that the door is locked.
Is it really though? Because I have a chime.
Oh, that's right. You do have a chime.
Yeah, it's the chime I ring when Wes isn't playing.
Right. Yes. If only it also found traps. So yeah, you go ping, and the door goes click and unlocks. Okay.
Up to 9 rings on the chime, so I got quite a bit left, but still. All right, so let's open it up and go in.
So
how many rings does the chime have?
45.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I've noticed about old school D&D is that you didn't have any of this high ridiculousness usually of, oh, it regains so many charges daily at dawn. What it does have is that items tend to have a crap ton of charges. That's like, okay, that's not so bad.
Probably say you're totally fucked if you rely on it too much. That's what I'm guessing the point of that is.
Maybe. I mean,
you get to like the crucial point in the game where it really would have,
Yeah, I mean,
and you're out of charges.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is, and you only have so many.
Oh no, there's some baddies.
Would a room overgrown with weeds count as like semi-wilderness?
No. Well, no.
I
I mean, technically, the whole ruins of Castle Braun, I guess, could be considered wilderness at this point, simply because um, it's definitely not an urban environment. We could say that. So I would more or less count this as wilderness. So the other thing to note is that there is another stairwell here that also leads um, down to the lower Bailey as well. So I mean, there's several egress points here up to this balcony. But anyways, so Mavis, you open the you open the door to the bell tower,
Holy
and
crap.
inside the entire first floor of this bell tower is just crawling with skeletons.
Oh, they're gonna get got.
And as soon as you open the door and Mavis steps in, the skeletons all. I was going to say that they all make a hissing sound, but they don't because skeletons have no vocal cords or a tongue. And so they all immediately start moving towards Mavis, or yeah, towards Mavis. So everybody needs to roll initiative.
Just a giant drum roll of bones.
Yes. So you're doing a d6 plus your dexterity modifier.
You say this plus all the time.
I don't really have a modifier. Let me see.
So what did Mavis get?
5.
And Alora?
2.
And Dentry?
4.
And Jackson?
2.
Okay, so skeletons get to go first. So I've created my Braunhaven reference screen. You guys should be able to view the reference screen. So if on your character sheet in the upper right corner, there's the 3 little dots. If you click on that, is that where you see it? Wait, I'm sorry. At the top, there is the sheets, and you can click on that and view other people's sheets. And so, in fact, Cameron, it'd probably be easier if you. So, Cameron, if you click on the 3 little dots where it says viewers, you can select everyone, and then that way other players can click on your character sheet, and I can click on your character sheet.
Wait, what? Sorry. 3 little dots are where?
At the very top of your at the top where your character sheet is, you should have like a avatar, and it'll say Braunhaven character sheet. In that upper right corner, there are 3 little dots that you can click on and get a drop-down menu.
I just clicked on the little thing above your window that said host.
Right, you could do that too, but she doesn't have it set so that viewers.
I think I need to add a sheet before I can do that.
Oh, you don't.
I haven't fucked with it.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. Once you add a sheet, so yeah, so like.
I'll be doing some data entry, and then I'll do.
Yes, no, I know how that goes. And then you can change between those sheets. So if you guys click on the your sheets at the top, you can click on Braunhaven referee screen, and it shows your initiative stack and all sorts of stuff in there. Not entirely necessary. Anyways, the skeletons got a whole whopping 6 on their niche. And so they're like yummy cleric. Let's see here. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. I had delete still activated. 5, 10, 15. He's going to attack 5, 10, 15. I guess he's going to attack
Mavis.
Oh no.
5, 5, 10.
Oh shit. Maybe I should enter the rooms first next time. If you survive this, I'll probably just yank you out of the room after if they don't all turn.
Right. All right. So it looks like 4 are going to be able to make attacks on Mavis. So first Skelly attack. They are all using regular rusty swords, pitted blades. First attack is a 15. What is Mavis's AC?
3.
And these guys don't have a whole lot. Oh, he just missed you. And second attack, that's also going to miss. Third attack, that's going to miss. Fourth attack. Jesus. Fucking skeletons. Alright, so that's what the skellies do. The rest of them that didn't attack are going to... Essentially, they're holding their action until something comes within range. Or they get the ability that... Well, they moved. So, until something comes into range that they will be able to then attack. So, the next one up, Mavis, what would you like to do? I'm pretty sure I know what you want to do.
I'm gonna hide. No. Let's burst them into dust.
Alright, so... Let's see here. You are level 5. And these guys... go ahead and roll 2d6 anyways. I'm just curious.
I'm doing data entry, so I'm gonna do it with real dice.
Okay.
Got 7.
Okay, so you would have turned up to 4 hit dice monsters, but these guys are all just 1 hit dice monsters, and they all explode. I need that. Well, I guess I don't really need that. Whoops. Boop, 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 boop. So yeah, they all explode into showers of dust and and bones that go blasting all over. And Mavis has won the day.
Cool.
Mavis, you're my hero.
So the floors of this this tower are made of a. At one time, it looks like they were very highly polished. Now everything's covered in bones and dust. But it's.
Dentry wants to rush up like, what I miss? What I miss?
Right.
Wait, I thought I heard enemies.
So the floors and walls are a purple veined white marble, and there are wood beams. The ceiling in here is 10 feet tall, and these beams at one time they are darkly stained. They were probably polished on the monthly, and then there in the middle of this room is the entrance to that, or a set of stairs that goes up to the entrance to the central bell tower, and it's just made of like dark gray stone. Around the base of this tower, there are arrow slits that are like 3 feet wide, and they go around the edge of the tower all the way around at 5-foot intervals. Where would you like to go?
Let's see. I gotta save this and then mess with it later, I think.
Oh yeah, you don't need to do it right away.
And is it save automatically?
Yes. Yes, anything you
Okay.
put in there, it just automatically keeps it.
Okay, cool. All right. So there's a bell up here, you said?
Yes, and that door is
Oh, sorry.
so that door's unlocked. And in that, when you open it, it does go up. It goes up about another 5 feet. And there's a bell at the top. It goes up way high. It's 20-foot steepled ceiling, and at the top of this is this large bell with a 4-foot diameter. And Mavis, roll. You're going to make a wisdom ability check. So roll a d20. You want to get under your wisdom score.
And I did.
Okay. You notice, let's see, where it is in the northeast corner. Right up here, you see a strange bundle. It looks like a fairly long bundle of rags that is sitting there.
Has anyone got a stick and poke it with it?
I got a sword. It'll
Okay.
do.
Come poke it.
Poke, poke.
So you poke this bundle, and it is a bundle of well, it's not several. It's just one, but it is a oil skin that is wrapped around something. It looks like it's probably wrapped around a sword.
Ooh. Do you think it's cursed?
Well, we saw that last time, but I do like new weapons. So I walk over and I unwrap it and I go, hey, look what I found. What did I find?
So inside, you find a bastard sword, and it is very well taken care of. It appears that, I mean, the oil skin seems that it has been sitting in here for who knows how long, but it has done its job in protecting this sword that was laying in here. And it is quite shiny. It looks like there is electrum inlaid into the pommel. And so here's the thing with bastard swords. Bastard swords are versatile. You can use them either one or two-handed. It essentially has a similar design and width as a greatsword, but it is shorter like a longsword, and the grip on it is slightly longer. The official name for bastard swords is the hand and a half sword, but when we first encountered them, we just went with bastard sword because we get to say bastard. And so bastard swords typically, in one hand they'll deal 1d6 plus 1 damage, and in two hands they deal 1d8 plus 1 damage.
Ooh.
Of course, if you're using them two-handed, you cannot use a shield. This one, so Dentry, you see this, and testing it out, the edge on this is exceptionally sharp.
Ooh.
I mean, not like your sword of sharpness or your Vorpal sword, which are like, razors, but this sword is quite
Well maintained.
Yes, well maintained.
In swinging it around, do I find any magicness in it?
You do. You find that this sword is not only exceptionally sharp, but it is exceptionally well balanced. This is a +2 bastard sword.
Oh, that is tricky. Do I flame sword that does all the pluses, or the bastard sword where I'm just like full offense, no defense?
Well, I mean, you could sling it into a sheath and keep it on your back.
For those times when I need I think I'll go the other way around actually and take the AC to keep the flaming sword for when I need it,
Yeah.
Because this would then make it a D8 plus 3 instead of just plus 1, right?
Correct. And it
That kind of makes it as good as the flaming sword at its best anyway.
Right, and it also gives you a +2 to hit.
Oh, right, and a +2 to hit. Okay, yeah, let's do that. All right, flaming sword goes on my hip, shield goes on my back.
Sweet deal.
+2 bastard sword.
Yes.
Just change my stats up to reflect the AC change there.
Does ringing the bell do anything? Very tempted to ring the bell.
That is a very good question. Let's see.
Do either of your characters, or neither of your characters can use a bladed weapon, huh?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, maybe I should part with one of my others. Oh, I know, because we had the sword of sharpness that we parted with put in the bag because nobody else could use it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you ring the bell, and it lets out a loud gong, and, you know, that's about it. It's very loud, yes.
Wow, that was satisfying. I'm glad I did that. Okay, let's get out of here. All right, I'm gonna check for traps at this door. All clear. I'll open it up.
Yeah, you don't find any traps, and that door is unlocked.
Yeah, okay.
And it leads into a hardwood floored hallway that and the walls have like the hardwood kind of goes up in a paneling about 3 feet along the bottom of the wall, and then the rest of the walls are just stone. And at the south end of this hallway, you see that there is another door. And actually, why are they not showing here? There are 2 doors to the west, and I don't know why they're not showing on this map, but there's one here, and there's one here.
All right. I'll open this door.
So it is locked.
Ring.
Okay. So you open the door, and in here, well, the first thing that you see is that it looks like it is a watch captain's quarters. There's dark gray stone on the floors and walls. They have they have wood beams on the ceiling, and there is a full-size bed, and in the corner of the room is a pot-bellied iron stove. And in here, you see laying on the bed is a corpse, and you only get to basically look at it for about 3 or 4 seconds, and the corpse sits bolt upright in the bed. It is a zombie.
Oh.
Zombies always fail initiative, so you guys can go ahead and roll initiative. Zombie gets a 0. All right, what did Mavis get?
5.
Okay, and Alora?
1.
And Dentry?
I thought it had different numbers, but it looks like they changed somewhere along the way. 4 and 3, I guess.
Okay. All right, so Mavis, what do you want to do?
Scream real loud. I'll go ahead and put my holy symbol up high and see if it kills these guys. It should.
Yeah?
Okay, let's try it. 10. Oh, that kills it.
Oh, yeah, 10, you would have gotten 5 hit dice monsters. This guy's only a 2, and he lets out a hiss and falls back into the bed, and basically essentially just falls apart. He's been here a while. But you do find in here, on the bed next to the rotting corpse, is what appears to be a journal.
Okay. Someone should read it, I guess. It would be the two.
Entry has zero desire to read it, and Jackson can't read it.
What, is Jackson illiterate?
He is, or he is basic.
Girls cannot resist reading diaries. Especially when there's no chance that you'll get caught or in trouble. So let's just...
Now I'm curious. What is Jackson's intelligence?
Jackson's intelligence is... Intelligence is 8.
So, it does say basic. Now what does that mean?
I can't read, but I can probably recognize words.
Well, you're not illiterate, so I would say that you probably can read at like a Cat in the Hat level.
Yeah, so I can read like a town name, I can read prison, I can read bar.
Yeah.
Like I know that says the bar. Okay, I go there to get my drinks.
Trespassers will be prostituted.
I like prostitution.
Ooh.
So
essentially,
essentially, Jackson has the reading capability of the average Twitter user. So, you look through this journal, and you find that indeed this was the watch captain's quarters, and it appears that the has-been zombie was the watch captain, and in his journal, he was turned, and he doesn't say by what or who. But it's clear from his journal that he was aware that he was going to be transformed. He locked himself into this room and just basically wrote in his journal until he had forgotten how to read and write, and laid down on the bed, and essentially the door was locked so that he could protect anybody else from his zombification.
Wow. Weird.
He knew it was coming.
I guess.
But who turned him? What turned him?
Nobody knows. That's a pretty spooky journal, though. Itchy tasty.
Like the journal doesn't say what turned him?
It does not.
He was turning?
It just says that it just shows that he was aware that he was going to become a zombie, and he chose to lock himself in here to protect everybody from himself.
Did he have any valuables in there with him?
It doesn't appear that he did.
Poor ass watch captain. Boo! Moving on.
Okay, no traps here. Opening the door.
Okay, so in here, again, this is very similar to the watch captain's room. It's essentially everything's covered in dust, but the bed and all of the accoutrements of this room. The bed is made. The room is neatly laid out, and aside from the fact that there's dust on everything, it looks like this room is ready for somebody to move in. There is a small lockbox in the northeast corner.
Ooh. I guess.
Want a crowbar it, or you want to chime it?
Try and use the crowbar. Let's see if that works.
I feel like chiming it is a little bit. We're overusing our chime already.
Yeah, maybe. Our thief.
Or maybe we should check it for traps first. I will check it for a trap.
Okay.
I find out a damn thing.
Yeah, you're like, looks fine to me.
Crowbar! To the rescue! And I crowbar it open.
Okay, so go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll a d6. Got a 3.
Got a 3.
Yeah, you crank off the lock, and it is opened up, and
it stabs me with some form of needle.
No. Hold on here. Where is my... I know that it's here. Why am I not finding? Perhaps. Like the wrong spot. Indeed, I am. We will roll a d6. So it's not, a ton of stuff, but there is 100 gold pieces.
100 gold pieces.
That is nice.
Where'd I put my damn loot? There it is. Loot. Add that to the... Ooh. I don't know what gold you guys have gotten and stuff while I've been gone, but we're doing all right here. We're up to 6,100 gold and 4,500 electrum and 2,000 silver.
Oh yeah, you guys are. This castle was full of loots. So then
I found gold.
So then out of here. Like I said, there is a door to the south, and as Dentry kind of pokes his head around the corner, there is a door to the west.
I look back at Mavis. Where you want to go?
I will be right back. I need to go grab myself a water.
We can go straight.
I feel like I need a beer on that note. Like if he's gonna get water, I should get beer. That makes sense, right?
I'm gonna get something. I'll be right back.
Everybody agrees. A nice cold beer.
Okay. So, what do you guys want? Oh, sorry, Cameron stepped away. That's what I get for not looking.
He went to get a beer. I went to get beer and snacks.
Nice.
Well, he didn't specify beers. He said beverage.
Well, I mean, is there another kind of beverage? Big red truck.
I mean, you got water.
That's right. That's true.
And I was drinking Coca-Cola until you said water, and then I realized I can drink beer. I don't have to drive anywhere.
That's right. Beer. It's what game days require. I remember in high school, there were the groups where they were like, dude, we like to get stoned and play D&D, and I'm like, how does that work? I mean, I don't understand. Because if I get stoned, I sit there and the whole table sits in silence because we're playing the game in our minds. But
I've got those friends that are just somehow productive when they're stoned, and I don't
Right.
get it. I'm like, how are you doing anything?
yeah,
I sit and watch a movie and lose half the movie.
or I plan to watch a movie and then end up looking at the smart TV screen, the screensaver for like the next hour and a half before I remember what it was that I was doing. Oh yeah, I was gonna put on a movie, huh?
First time I watched The Dark Tower, I'm fairly certain I only saw the first like 10 minutes, about 10 minutes in the middle somewhere, and maybe the last like 15. I blanked that entire movie, and I'm like, I know I watched it. I know I was
Yeah,
there.
I was there. The 2 times that I have tried to watch Blade Runner 2049, both times I had been, I love that movie, but both times that I've sat down to watch it, the first time in the theater and the second time at home, I I had been working like long hours both of those days, and about the last probably 45 minutes of the movie, I ended up falling asleep. One time in the movie theater, I fell asleep.
Oh,
I was
shit.
like bone tired. So I've never seen the ending of that fucking movie, and I probably should rectify that. But
You should.
because it's a great movie, absolutely fantastic movie. I don't know that I would say that it's as good or better than the first one, but it is a fantastic sequel. I mean, it I cannot give it higher marks. It's fantastic.
That's all the things it should do.
Yeah, it does exactly what it should do.
Nice.
So what are you guys doing from here?
Walking straight ahead and not seeing any traps.
So you're heading south?
Yeah.
Okay. So you push open the door. Where I'm at. 2J. The door, as you're pushing it open, there is some resistance. Like there's almost like there's something in front of it, and then you push a little harder, trying to shove whatever it is out. And it's almost like there's like an elastic, like something is springing and trying to hold the door shut, and you push harder, and when you finally get the door open in here, this entire room, it looks like this was a dining hall for the guards, and everything is covered in thick, sticky webbing all over the place. And you can see that hanging from the ceiling and on these 3 large trestle tables, there are bundles of web that are vaguely humanoid shaped.
Ew. Okay. I want to let everyone know what's going on in here. We didn't alert anything by. Did I alert anything by moving the door?
Roll a d6. Actually, everybody roll a d6.
A 4 and a 2.
A 1 and a 5. The 5 was Jackson in the back,
So
like slowly walking up, like, what's going on?
So Alora is surprised, and Jackson is surprised. And
Well, Jackson can't really be surprised unless they roll the 1.
right. So, well, didn't Jackson roll a 1?
No, Dentry rolled the 1.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So Dentry is surprised. But in here, you see in this corner, in the southeast corner, there is a thicker, heavier bundle of webbing, and you see that there are these. There is a large round pod of web. And on top of this is a giant black widow.
Oh, great.
And as the door is pushed open, the black widow kind of hunkers down and lets out a hissing sound, and it looks like it's very protective of that bundle.
Should we leave it alone, friends?
This black widow is like 6 feet long.
Ooh.
And it is sitting on what appears to be a giant egg.
Oh, gross. Ew. That shouldn't be. But also, I don't know if we can take it.
Yeah, I feel like if we had Borman with us, this would be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because he would wake up from his nap and come in here. Oh, you can't hit me. You can't hit me. Although, Gentry is liking the idea of his new sword, but again, that's...
Okay, let's see what it with spells. Maybe we can do something intelligent.
Maybe I'll get lucky and roll an 18 and cop it and chop its head off.
Okay, so my main concern, I guess, is being poisoned.
Yeah, from a black widow, it's rather serious.
From a giant black widow, especially.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us could survive that.
Well, it's a save versus poison. Or death.
None of my characters have particularly great saves against poison or death.
I could try and scare it. I could try and cause fear.
Yeah, it's basically a death save versus poison. Yeah, you could attempt a cause fear.
Is it count as an animal?
I believe that it would, yes. Actually, that is a really good question. Let's see, what does the actual entry say? It says... I would say, yeah, it counts as an animal.
Okay. Because Allura could potentially speak with it. Could do that, or we could try and scare it with cause fear.
I think Allura trying to speak with it would work better first, because it might get freaked out and be like, it's already in a corner, so... I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, in this, they don't have the whole, like, I'm so scared I fight mechanic. It's more of, I'm so scared I have to run or cower. Right?
What should I don't even know what to ask it exactly. Like, could you please fuck off while we walk through here? I don't think that it would... I mean, it might say sure and then just, like, eat us, because there's all these humanoid blob things around anyway.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a fight or leave it alone option.
So Jackson would know that Black Widows are obviously something to be feared because they are so exceptionally poisonous, and it does say that he knows that they sometimes prey on humans.
Okay.
It's not like they have like a particular taste for them, but in most cases they're not. There's no feeling of malice or chaos coming from them. They're animals.
Animals doing animal things. Okay.
In other words, they typically are neutral. Typically.
Let's see if there's another entrance to this room that isn't right in front of it. And we can actually see if there's anything worth going in this room for.
Okay. So I'll attempt to look for traps at the store. Yeah, looks good. Let's open it up. I have literally never gotten a 1. I can't believe it. It's like crazy this many times to not get a 1.
You want Jackson to at least try and sneak past the door? I mean, he can kind of sneak since this is
Sure, go for it.
for the DM wildernessy. I only have to roll a 3. Wait, no, that's too many d6s.
So you're essentially shutting the other door and.
Yeah, we're just closing that door right
Like,
on back.
hi.
Like, hi, bye. Nope, we're just gonna close that right back. Just gonna. We didn't see you. You didn't see us. Everybody's good.
So this, so Jackson's opening this door.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll for a stealth. And hey, Jackson goes to open it quietly and just pushes it wide open.
Yeah, just busts right in. So this looks like it is a watch barracks. There's stone floors and walls. There are wood beams, and you can see the shingles. And there's holes in the shingles. Obviously, there's water puddles all over the place, being spring. So it's not. Most of these bunks are moldy from rain damage. And you see that there's a pot-bellied stove that sits in the southwest corner of the room, and obviously not lit, hasn't been lit in many years. But the room is web-free, and you see that there are 2 iron-studded doors leading out of the barracks to the south into the dining hall. But those are the only exits out of this room.
I relay the information to the people, and I say, maybe these go into the room in a farther from the spider option.
Yeah, we could take a look over there, if nothing else, right? Like, take a peek.
Did you want to search the barracks room?
Hell yeah!
All right.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oops.
Always search the rooms. I just am not doing it quietly. I'm being very, very noisy about my searching.
So, searching the rooms, you do find a sack that is hidden behind the pot-bellied stove.
Ooh.
And I need to add all of this up. Oops.
Oh, but that spider's probably got some nice loot. Because this is totally its lair. But I also feel like Will Smith in Men in Black. Phil, don't start no shit. No shit.
So the sack that you find hidden behind the pot-bellied stove, you open it up. It's got a drawstring on it, and inside are 1,300 gold pieces.
Holy shit.
2,000 silver pieces.
Okay.
And 1,200 copper pieces.
Okay. All right.
And that stove is right over here in this corner. So, where would you?
What I found.
We want to take a peek through this door and see, in front of Mavis and see if it's all webby or not.
So it is all webby. The spider has moved
Oh, great.
and is kind of sitting there looking right. The spider's smart enough that it moved and is looking at these two, kind of keeping it, at least 4 of its eyes on these 2 doors. You do notice that there is another web-covered door leading to the east, out of the hall.
Okay. We could try and go
The east.
around the outside and see if the external door is accessible. That's the only other thing I can think of to do.
Are webs flammable?
Yeah, they are. Yes.
You could probably stick the flame sword under the door. We could like have somebody hold each door shut.
Gentry will put his newly acquired bastard sword away and instead pull his shield and sword back out and kind of just be like, "We don't want none. We trying to pass through, but I will light you up if you come close."
So, I mean, the spider doesn't understand entry.
Okay.
No. Where I'm facing it, we're doing like one of these. Like I'm facing it, but I'm moving like strafing. Like no. Is that the goal, to kind of get to the other door that she saw? Or we want to fight it? Do we want to fight it?
Maybe we just should.
Let's do it.
I mean, Alora being able to speak with animals.
Yeah, I could ask to pass through. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. I haven't cast it before. So.
Okay. So Alora casts speak with animals. What's she saying?
We just want to pass through to the other room. We do have a flaming sword and can light all the webs on fire if we have to, but it'd be better if we just walk through.
So the Black Widow, kind of, in Black Widow-ish manner, in a hissing speech, says, "Pass if you must. Leave children alone."
Yeah, we don't want to mess with your egg at all. So I think we can go through. Let's be careful, friends.
Children? That's plural.
Well, yeah, they have like a lot of them at once. It's pretty gross.
It is rather disgusting. So who's going to move over to this other door? I mean, Dentry's got the
Jackson will go for the move.
Okay.
I feel like being of a nature man, he's the least worried about being caught off guard by this.
So as you guys move to the door, the Black Widow moves up and stops on top of the trestle table and is just watching you intently.
Okay, we're watching back. I think it's gonna be all right.
Dentry's just chilling right here. Jackson tries the door.
Okay.
Does the door open?
Hold on here.
Oh. We still trying to figure out if we're about to get attacked by a spider.
What is Alora's charisma?
14.
Holy shit.
Or 13? Yeah, 13.
Roll a d20 minus 1.
Nine?
Okay. So I was just having Alora make a reaction modifier, or make a reaction charisma check, and the spider essentially believes you, and is, but it is obviously wary. It is trying to protect its egg. So right, Jackson, this door is covered in webs, and you have to cut away some of the webs, and you pull open the door to the eastern watchtower. And you notice that there are webs in here as well. All of you see that in the roof of the dining hall, there is a large section of shingles that have been that probably rotted through. They're kind of covered in webbing as well. So the spider has access to climb up the webbing and out onto the roof of the castle. But in here, you see that there's the webs covering nearly every surface. There are web-covered beams on the ceiling, and you see that there is a trestle table in here that kind of sits at an odd angle. On the western side of this door, you see that the webs have been cut away, and the remains of several chairs have been broken apart, and some of them have been. They attempted to nail the boards from these chairs to the door and into the stone wall, trying to block the door, and it obviously didn't work very well.
Oh, so they realized it, and they're like, keep that thing in there.
Right. Okay. And then up here in the northeast corner, there is a stairwell that leads up to the second level of the tower.
Okay. Oops.
Say we clear the room.
I think Alora is gonna ask if there's any other spiders in here. Like, I think speak with animals should work for a little while. Right?
Yeah. In fact, yeah. Let's see. How long does that last? Speak with animal. Yeah, 60 minutes. So.
Cool.
So you're gonna ask the spider if there's any more in here?
No, I'm gonna, be like, are there any more spiders in here?
You don't get any. You don't get any answer.
Okay. We should get in here and close the door.
From behind you, the Black Widow says, "My husband lived in there for a while."
Oh, okay.
Until she killed him.
Good to know. That makes sense. That makes sense of everything. Okay, excellent. Should we go up to the second floor? I don't really want to search in here too much. We'll get really sticky.
I do want to search in here, though, because I don't want us to get caught off guard.
All right, have at it.
I'm taking Dentry's going to take the flaming sword around the room and kind of just methodically
check
the room.
Dentry, on top of the table, you see that there is a mound of webbing that is vaguely humanoid shaped. And you can see that it is it looks like you can see through some of the webbing. It looks like it was hastily wrapped, but it looks like the desiccated corpse of a bugbear.
Oh shit!
And it's still wearing leather armor, and it's got a belt on. There are belt pouches and things of that manner on it.
I would like to deftly kind of take the flame sword and kind of get rid of the webbing around it, so I can kind of search the corpse.
Okay, so searching the corpse, you find that its belt pouch still has coins in it. And
we should have checked that other table before we left the room. Who wants to antagonize him?
In the pouch, you find 250 gold pieces.
250.
90 silver pieces.
And 90.
300 copper pieces.
300. Got it. All right. I would like to continue kind of working my way around the room, just making sure, kind of checking this exit here, just make sure there's nothing that's going to like pop out at us. Yeah,
you don't find anything else in there.
Alrighty. Found some gold. Rest of the room's clear. Are we going up or out? Up it is. Jackson would like to put something by this door. Like, is there anything like metallic or anything in the room that I could put there so like if the door gets opened, we would hear it fall?
Yeah, I mean, you could set up like I said, there are busted chairs and whatnot, so you could set up a board so that so that it'll fall over.
Cool. Because Jackson doesn't trust the spider. Jackson's like, I believe that you'll let us pass, but I also believe that you could get hungry.
So at the top of the stairwell is is the second guard tower, and it connects to a series of parapets along the along the battlement of the edge of the wall of the tower that is broken in several sections because the masonry has cracked and fallen and whatnot. But aside from that, it is open to the elements, and aside from that, there's nothing else up here. But you can see for miles around the
Oh,
miles
so like the other
around
side where we slept out at the beginning.
correct. So I
Okay.
mean, you can see, you know, all around, this castle. You can see miles around the landscape. This, of course, being the small creek that runs past the castle. But aside from that, and having parlayed with the giant black widow, you have essentially cleared the castle.
Sweet.
I bet there was something on one of those bodies.
Probably. You can always come back.
Well, eventually we'll need to come back and clear that room. You're right.
And so leading leading out of the tower puts you right here.
Cool.
Did we ever explore this courtyard with the fountain area thingy below 4?
Yeah, you pretty much did.
Okay. So I know we did all the inside stuff. I was like, did we ever explore like the exterior stuff here?
And actually, is that on, no, it's not on. It is. Zoom out a bit more. Place you guys. So you'll see that there are 2 party markers at the southern end of the map. This other party marker here is where you have camped your horses, just on the other side of the bridge. Your horses.
How long did it take us to clear the keep? Or the castle?
About. Yeah, it took you about a little over a day.
Okay. So our horses and stuff have only been left alone for about a day. Okay.
Now from the when you were up at the tower, all the way up here to the north on the map, right here, you see that there is a rather large farmstead up there. And one of the things that you have noticed, and you've seen this before, having seen that farmstead before, you notice that there is a actual trebuchet set up on the edge of the farmer's field.
The fuck?
And we can afford it now.
Yeah. Well.
I'm sure we're real beat and have a lot of money, and a farmstead might be able to give us like a nice place to stay and like a home cooked meal before we walk all the way back to Braunhaven. Plus, we can.
Do I go to the farmstead before we go to our horses and stuff?
We could take our horses over there. Either way.
That's why we left the horses there, because crossing the river was going to be a pain in the ass.
Oh, okay. All right. Right on.
I'm down. I like that idea. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I want to check out the trebuchet.
Okay. So, whoops. Once again, not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted to do either.
You're gonna have to be the one with the charisma because neither of my guys got charisma.
I think Alora's the only one in the whole party that has any charisma.
All I know is the last time we let Borman do something charismatic, it didn't work because he decided to talk a farmer.
So were you going to were you going to attempt to get your horses, or are you going to leave them there until you come back from the farmstead?
How long would it take us to go check on them real quick?
No, it wouldn't. Like you could check on them in say 20 minutes.
Okay. So how about we walk down to the river and just look across to see if then make sure everything's okay before we leave them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sound good? Okay, cool.
And you need to take a 10-minute rest while you're once you get to your horses. You kind of take a little smoke break. The horses are fine, and the wagon is unmolested.
Wonderful.
So then you spend the next, say, 30 minutes getting to this farm. And the farm, I need to make 2 of these. No, and no. And so this farm, as you approach, oh, I'm sorry, there are 3 large trebuchet that are
We only saw one, but there were 3.
Yeah, there are 3. 2 of the other ones are in various states of not repair. They're being built, and they are sitting at the edge of a group of farm buildings. And there is in the field. Of course, this is spring, but you see that this field has been. Probably within the last month or so, it has been tilled, and you are starting to see sprouts of small green vines growing up out of the dirt. In the middle of this, I mean, the best way to describe this is a complex of farmhouses. In the middle is a large windmill, and you note that the farmhouses and buildings themselves are half buried underground, and there is a sheep herd that is kind of milling about, eating grass and things of that manner around this farm. And there is, as you get closer, you can see that there is a gnome that is out with a hook shepherd's staff, tending to the sheep, and this gnome sees you guys walking up towards the farm and turns and runs into one of the half-buried buildings.
Which direction are the trebuchets facing?
They are facing to the east.
Okay. So they went facing like towards the castle. Okay.
So
they're not facing the direction we're coming from. That's good.
They must be scared, I guess, right?
Well,
they're preparing for something.
So the gnome that ran in after a moment, the gnome that ran into one of the half-buried farmhouses. There's like little, mud brick stairs that lead down, to the front door of these half-buried houses. And the gnome that went in there comes out, and as you get closer, you realize that the gnome that was out shepherding the sheep is, and it's hard to tell from a distance because they're gnomes, but it appears that this gnome is a child, maybe in human years, maybe around the ages of between 8 and 10 years old. And coming out of the farmhouse is an older gnome, smoking a long churchwarden style pipe, and he steps up and he pats the younger gnome on the shoulder and kind of points back to the sheep, and he then turns to you and waves.
We'll wave back. I think I'll have Alora speak with him. and tell him that we're adventurers who are weary and we're looking for some food or a place to stay. Maybe we found some gold so we can pay our way.
So he steps forward and he says, we could put you up for the evening, and he introduces himself as Roland Voloff, and this is the Voloff farmstead. And he offers you a room for the night. He says, no, there's no need to pay. You're travelers weary on the Imperial Tradeway. You have a night. You can stay in one of our rooms. I apologize. He looks at Dentry. He goes, the rest of you are going to be uncomfortable, but he's a large lad. I don't know that we've got any beds that'll fit him.
Oh, okay. Is Dentry okay with sleeping on the floor, or is
absolutely?
He's fine. Okay.
Dentry's used to roughing it.
And
Cool.
he invites all of you into his house, and of course. I'm sorry. What was you? What?
He better brag about the trebuchets. I want to know more.
So he offers you to come in, and you all have to kind of duck down because this is a gnome house, and it's like Luke walking around inside Yoda's mud hut, and he kind of his wife is in there puttering around, and around the stove, and she goes, "Oh, we have guests." And she starts to put into wooden bowls. She puts in a thick and hearty pumpkin soup, and out of the fireplace, off of a spit, she pulls out a leg of lamb off the spit, and kind of sets that down. And she reaches into a cupboard and pulls out some mint jelly and sets it on the table. And Grandpa Voloff goes, "Oh, it's too bad you're not here during the autumn months. You know, between the months of Septem and Octus, we take some of the pumpkins from our pumpkin patch, and we have pumpkin throwing contests with the trebuchets. It's really quite popular."
That's awesome. Is that why the trebuchets were built?
Oh yes. In fact, it got popular enough in the fall months, people visiting the farm, family and friends and such. We ended up having to start building another couple of them so that everybody would have a chance.
And I guess, is there like a polite way to ask how much they would sell the trebuchet for? Like, not necessarily today, but maybe sometime in the future.
He says, "Oh, well, they're built by my teenage son and a couple of his cousins. I'm sure that we could probably talk him into building one. I don't know how much they might want for it." That's a really good question. How much would they want for it?
Or we could convince them to maybe come and build one for us.
Yeah, they could come over to...
Might be easier to have them build one than to trek it all the way back to where we're going.
Yeah, it'd probably be easier if you wanted to build one, in the town. It'd probably be easier to have them come to you. Let's see here. Encounters, dungeon adventuring. I would imagine it's going to be somewhere around here. Land vehicle, water vessels, catapults. So generally it says, he says that, we could probably, the boys would probably be willing to build you one for around 100 gold pieces.
Awesome. Well, we could explain where we are in Braunhaven, and if they want to earn the money, they're free to come build one whenever. I'm sure they're pretty busy working on or living on a farm.
So your total time since you've left Braunhaven has been about 3 days. And he tells you, he says, "Oh, he says, oh, terrible thing that happened to Braunhaven." Says, "I can
What
understand why
happened,
you."
bro?
He says, "I can understand why you'd want a trebuchet there."
Wait, what happened in Braunhaven?
He says, "Oh, you haven't heard." He says, says, "I'm surprised that you've been out in the wilderness long enough that you haven't heard. The Emperor's tax collector went to Braunhaven and noticed all the work that's been done around the town and demanded a higher tax than normal. And when the people tried to refuse, well, there was a bit of a ruckus. Part of that fancy new wall got burned down."
Oh man, that's
I
so
knew that
mean.
was gonna happen. It was too soon to build up the wall. We weren't ready to keep it.
He said the tax collector's men actually raided the inn and several of the buildings.
Oh, did they leave already?
As far as I
Probably.
Wait,
know,
they raided the inn. That's where we were keeping our gold and shit.
well,
Yeah.
you had moved it from the inn to your new manor.
Oh yeah. That's right.
He says that
We should. Mm.
he says like I said, I'm surprised that you've been out in the wilderness long enough to not know. He says foul creatures are known to prowl the ruins of that damned castle at night. He says they're fell beasts, I tell you. He says their howls can be heard on the night air when the moon and stars are highest in the sky. I would stay away from that accursed place altogether. Bah and fie.
In the
I
castle that
wouldn't.
we just took care of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't many howls for a while. So we
Although
did
if you
some
do
good
know a good
there, but
spider exterminator.
Yes. He says, "Well, if you took care of those terrible creatures and cleaned up that castle, then you truly are heroes."
we took care of the creatures. We don't quite have the people or the time to clean up the whole manor, but that's the plan for the future for sure. Um, I suppose in the morning we should return to Braunhaven and survey the damage that's been done.
So you guys finish your pumpkin soup and your leg of lamb and Grandma Voloff. Uh, there's an entire other building that they use for guests that she kind of sets up, and of course all of the beds are short. The beds are maybe 4 feet long, and they're just wide enough. Their double beds are just wide enough for one of you to sleep. And I mean, Dentry can lay in it, but like his knees are crooked over the edge of the bed. He's just kind of taking up and kind of the whole bed, kind of drooping over on sides. But they put you up for the night, and in the morning, so anybody who got any damage, you can roll a d3, and of course because Alora's there, you get to times that by 2, and you get that many hit points back.
All that beefy footage. I think Jackson's the only one that's down any hit points. I think everybody else was mostly healed.
Yeah, my characters were fine.
Okay.
So roll a d3 and double it, you said, or just roll a d6?
Yeah, you could roll a d6. That's fine.
5 hit points it is.
There you go.
So that would have been 4 or 6, depending on how I rolled for the doubling. I might have just shorted myself. Now I'm curious. Roll that d3. Let's see what it would have been. Ah, I would have got an extra one. I shorted myself a hit point.
Okay, so you guys wake up in the morning and proceed to make your way back to um, your horses, and then the Voloffs wave to you and send you on your way. They also Grandma Voloff gives each of you one a little pouch of one iron ration for each of you. Oh, here's some lunch to take with you along the way.
They are so nice. I want to like leave a piece of gold or something tucked in the.
Yeah, you can.
I'm gonna do that and
Absolutely.
be generous. They're nice. I'll just track some.
Leave a sack. I say we just leave a sack of 100 copper instead of giving them a whole gold.
We have so much copper.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, sure. I'll just subtract that from one of them.
Now I'll just subtract it from the party kitty. Don't take it out of your personal.
Okay.
So it will take you about a day to get back to the town of Braunhaven, and okay. Tells me what I need to
BRB.
Okay. Set up your stuff. I need. Oh, come on. Why is this being a pain in my ass?
Yes, who's back?
Welcome back.
again.
Where? Why am I having a hard time finding stuff today? There we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right. This would be forest. Three. Ooh. And then I need to roll a 20. Well, that's interesting. Oh, shit. Okay. So I need you guys to all roll a d6.
Scared when the DM goes, oh shit.
All right, so 7 and a 5 and a 4, or I'm sorry, a 5 and a 4. Okay, so well, I'm sorry. You need to roll 2d6 for each of your characters.
Oh. 4 and an 8 then.
Okay, so neither Dentry nor Jackson are surprised, and neither Mavis nor Allura are surprised. However, you can hear coming up from behind you this loud buzzing, this and landing, coming out of this tree and landing on the ground, you see a giant mantis. And when I say giant, we're talking like it is 12 feet long. Vicious clawed forelimbs and slicing mandibles. It's like a green, camouflagey kind of color. And it was surprised by you showing up.
We're friends with a giant spider.
Speak with animals. Speak with animals. Has it been an hour? I'm just playing.
Everybody roll initiative.
Okay.
Damn it.
I just thought of something I should add to this initiative stack. There should be like a toggle button for surprise.
Oh.
That would be a good idea. So, what did Mavis get?
3.
And Allura?
6.
And Dentry?
1.
Oh. And Jackson?
1.
Oh, no. What is Dentry's dexterity?
1.
Oh, shit. And what's Jackson's like that? His dex score is 1?
Oh, sorry, no. He has modifier 0. He has a 0 modifier for Dentry, and Jackson has a -1 modifier. If you want the actual score, Jackson's is dex is a 8.
So Dentry has the higher dex score. I would say that probably beats Jackson in a tie.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So the mantis was surprised as you guys were coming down the road, and it flits down onto the ground, and in a defensive posture. Looks like Allura got a 6. What does Allura want to do?
This thing's obviously threatening, right?
Yeah. I mean, they are mantises are predatory insects.
Okay.
They're also quite beefy.
They're gonna get a dagger to the face then.
Okay. So, wow. Let's see here. 30, 35, 40. He is out of range to throw a dagger. You could move closer, though.
Oh, where is this thing?
He is to the northeast. Right there.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
Told you, he's camouflaged.
Okay. And how big are each of these squares?
5 feet.
Okay. Maybe what I should do is hop on the broom
Hmm.
I'm gonna hop on the broom and fly up, like, behind this tree for some cover.
Okay.
And it's gonna come closer, I'm sure.
I see. Yes. So you're gonna run and take cover on your broom.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. What does Mavis want to do?
Hmm. I think I'm out of range to throw a rock at it.
15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. He is 40 feet away. And so you're wanting maybe to use a sling.
I could try and scare it too.
Actually, no. Sling's long range. He's 40 feet away. That puts you into medium range. A sling can throw up to 160 feet.
Okay, let's try it then. That didn't work. All right.
Two. No. So you bravely sling a rock in his direction.
And take some cover.
Oops. Okay. So let's do that. Mavis. What does Dentry want to do?
Dentry.
The Mantis is surprised this round.
Dentry will move to here. And 5, 10, 15, 20, 20, 30 feet. Hell yeah.
So you're at -1. If you're throwing an axe, you're at -1.
Is that far?
I believe. Let's see. 5, 10, 15,
Axe, yeah, you're right.
25.
No, 40 feet is in normal range.
You're for throwing an axe?
Yeah, it says 20, 40, 60.
No, hand axe. 5 to 10 is short, 11 to 20 is medium, and 21 to 30 is long range.
Did I look at the wrong one? Where'd I get 20, 40, 60 from?
I don't
know. Okay, whatever. You the DM. I go with that.
Yeah, no, according to the combat stats, hand axe has maximum of 30 feet for throwing.
So it's at, okay, -1, whatever, fuck it. Works for me. So -1 to roll. Okay, clear that. D20, -1.
But it's a +1, so...
So it just evens out anyway.
Yeah, it would just be 0.
Ha!
All that math, and it didn't even matter. All right, and what does Jackson want to do?
Jackson will come up to there, next to him, and loose an arrow, which would normally be at normal, good, perfectly ranged for a +1, but my -1 dex puts me back to just a normal D20 roll.
Yep.
Hooray! 16.
Ooh.
A FACO of 17.
So...
I can hit...
You hit AC 1.
AC 1.
That hits the Mantis.
Sweet. Get a D6 on this. No, what? No, I don't want to do that. That. For 2 whole points of damage.
Okay. So your arrow strikes true and it's sticking in the carapace of this Mantis, and it kind of lets out this insecty shriek. We're back to Alora. What does Alora want to do?
I think she can kind of like whiz by on the broom and throw a dagger, maybe.
Yeah, I'd allow that.
Okay. So it's a +1 dagger, so we'll add 1 to whatever I roll here. 8. No fucking way.
Yeah, even with the +1.
God damn it.
Yeah, and you're in medium range, Sam. So indeed, you throw the dagger and it kind of swings around, comes back. What does Mavis want to do?
She's gonna be braver this time. Let's see. 10, 15. I don't like this thing. I'm gonna try and cause fear.
Okay. So he needs to make a spell save. And he fails with a 6.
Good.
He is scared. And on his turn will, well, is it the same as, like, turning? Probably.
I don't know. I've only cast this once.
Let's see. Yeah, I think we've only looked this one up once. Fear. So it has a, 60-foot cone, 30 feet wide at the end. Will flee from the caster at maximum speed for 1 round level per caster. And you're a 5th level caster. So for 5 rounds, he's going to be bolting. And then there is one other question. Well, he doesn't have any treasure, so he won't drop anything. So usually, affected creatures have a 60% chance of immediately dropping anything in their hands. Decrease 5% for each level of hit die above 1. So yeah, he is terrified of Mavis and is going to run away from Mavis for 5 rounds on his turn. Okay.
Okay.
On his turn, he is going to fly the fuck away. Five, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. He's running. That's round 4 more rounds of running. Probably going to make it all the way off the map. What would Dentry like to do?
I mean, at this point, I'm like, yo, let's call it a day.
Let's let it go.
I mean,
we could go the opposite direction and then it'd be over faster.
We're trying to get back to our horses and stuff?
Yeah. You can do that.
We're just trying to get back to by the time it gets over its fear, it would have to find us, and that's assuming that we're in the same direction that it comes back to look for.
Well, and I mean, it's a mantis. It'll probably get interested in something else along the way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think that you have probably doing that. Stop it. There. So, yeah, you have successfully defeated the mantis. Yeah, it's a level 5 creature, and it's got a 14 for its spell save. God, mantises suck.
I'm sure it has other things that make it much more terrifying, though. We just chose the let's not fight it option.
Yes. Come on, there we go. That counts. Okay. So you guys, towards the late into the evening, you make your way back into the town of Braunhaven. And where did my
townspeople all rush us and beat us to death for bringing this on them?
Yeah, as you approach the town, you can see that there is smoke rising, and as you enter the town, there are bucket brigades of people that are in the process of putting out the wooden palisade that was being built around the town. You can see that there are a couple of the buildings that have been put to the torch. in outside of the inn here at number 1, right about. Well, actually, no. Outside the All Faiths Temple, right about here, you can see that there are a number of bodies that have been laid up, and there's a tarp thrown over them.
Oh damn! They didn't just come through and like do stuff. They killed people.
Yeah.
Where'd they go after that?
So, on their merry way, like they always do.
So Mavis, you stop one of the townspeople that is running around trying to. They're peasants, so they mean well, but they're in a panic. They don't really know what to do, and so they're running around with literally no direction. And the townsperson says, "Oh, it's terrible. The emperor's tax collector and soldiers came in and they killed several people, and they put the town to the torch, saying that we were holding out on our taxes, and they could tell that we had more money than we were going to pay, and so they lit the wall on fire, and mass pandemonium."
Man, that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
We were a little premature in turning this into a stronghold.
The town person is kind of grabbing onto Mavis and says, "Your manor was hit too."
And I push them away and go, "My manor? Oh no!" No.
My house was hit. What the
fuck? Yeah, we'll deal with that in a minute. We need to have funerals and shit.
So standing outside and kind of going over, he's smudging. He's got a bundle of smoldering sage, and over the bodies you can see that Father Ainsworth is smudging over the bodies and doing a typical druid old gods, old faith kind of burial practice, and giving them their last rites.
I'd like to help as much as I can.
Okay. So yeah, so Mavis, you show up and you're kind of helping administer last rites. What does Alora do? I mean, she's a witch, so I mean, witches in Braunhaven are really more closely tied to nature. She's more closely tied to like the druidic faith. Definitely unlike druids, witches are more of the darker side of the druidic magic, but still of that faith.
She's gonna speak with animals and talk with the birds and see if they know which way the perpetrators took off.
So she does find a couple of sparrows that in a hyperactive, high-pitched voice, they're like, "Oh, we saw exactly what happened, and they ran off to the east, to the north, along the imperial, or along the eastern tradeway."
Well, that's excellent. I'll feed them something that I have.
Okay. They flit down onto Alora's fingers, and they're nibbling from some seeds and whatnot that she's got in her hands. And one of them, with its mouth full, says, "Yeah, they went into the edge of the Sylvanus forest. Maybe the elves will get them." And then the other one goes, "Oh yeah, those elves."
Ooh, there's elves. Well, we'll get them if the elves don't. Because this cannot stand.
What is Dentry doing?
Dentry is standing by the bodies and just kind of being like, "We're going to get these people for coming at us." He's just mad because someone came at his shit.
And you say that, and Father Ainsworth comes up and puts a hand on Dentry's shoulder and says, There will be time for vengeance soon. Don't rush in."
Oh, I'm not rushing. We're going to do this very methodical. Very methodical.
What does Jackson do?
He just kind of sits and goes, "See, this is why I don't have a home. This is why I don't live in towns. This shit happens to town people. It doesn't happen to my people. We live out in the woods. We fine."
He's got an American flag off the back of his wagon.
He's a ranger. He's not. I carry what I have on me, and that's
survivalist.
It.
Yeah. No meal left behind.
Right, man. I'm sorry you guys put up walls and stuff. See, this is why you shouldn't put up walls and stuff.
This is my AR-15 crossbow. So, you guys spend most of the morning helping bury the dead, and I mean, you guys are bone tired by the time you're done, because you've spent most of the day and night coming back to the town. It is early morning by the time you rolled into town, and so you spend most of the day helping to clean up. You guys have now gone well over 24 hours without sleep, and you retire back to your inn. And indeed, the doors of the inn, or I'm not sorry, not the inn, the manor. The doors to the manor have been kicked off of their hinges. The interior, I mean, you guys hadn't really spent a whole lot of time furnishing the place. You'd kind of cleaned it up a little bit, but for the most part, anything that you had done was undone. It's been busted up pretty bad. Oddly enough, I did not.
Didn't take our treasure.
Oh, you're about to find out about that.
Damn it!
Let's see here. Where is my...
Well, good thing Borman's not here, because he'd have really been pissed off about that.
Right? Let's see here. It is there. And... map. I need to add one more. Don't need to place tokens just yet. So you get in, you discover that the manor has indeed been ransacked. Out of your party kitty that you had stashed in the manor, and I assume that this is Brian that has the records of this. What's your total gold piece value?
I have the gold piece prior to when we split it up. I have that, everything we've done on this adventure. Everybody had their own gold kept separately once after the last adventure, prior to when we started going up to the castle and stuff. So I only have the gold from when we left town last time onward.
That's fine.
So just that gold?
Yeah, that will work.
Okay. The last time since the last split, it is 7,650 gold, 4,500 electrum, 4,690 silver, 1,700 or 17,500 copper.
So you can cut the copper in half.
Shit. It's 875 now.
And you can cut the electrum in half.
Son of a bitch, we're coming for them with everything we got.
And you can cut the gold in half. The
Yep,
rest,
we're coming at them with everything we got.
The rest was sufficiently stashed, and they didn't. They basically just grabbed what they could easily find and split with it.
There's some gold that would have been kept by Wes when I wasn't playing.
Right.
When I
Yeah.
had to leave a couple times.
Yeah, you guys can hang on to that.
Okay, cool.
Give me one moment.
That was a lot of gold.
I will be right back.
That was a lot of gold.
Yeah, for real.
That was a lot of fucking shit.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
They
I'm
ruined
really
a
mad
lot.
about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Why did we build the wall and start fortifying this place if we weren't around?
I don't know. I guess we thought there'd be more time. Like, we were only gone for 3 days, and that was like the exact 3 days that they showed up and decided to.
I mean, I feel like it might have been bad if they had come while we were there too, because it'd have been like,
Yeah,
they had enough people to trash a town.
That's true. Yeah.
It would have been us versus, at the very least, some equally like, maybe not equally, but some decently like strong people.
It would be better to sneak in after them and sneak attack.
Oh, we're gonna slit all their throats. We're slitting all their throats.
It'll be great.
We're going in. All throats are being slit. The taxman's being held in town, like on a freaking one of those things. The stocks. We're gonna put him in some stocks in the center of town, and we're gonna have those gnomes come back and get them trebuchets up and going.
Yeah.
So you guys.
Or maybe we wait until we have a lot more money before we do this. We need to have a lot more money before we decide to make this town a stronghold, I think. But either way, we're slitting some throats.
Yeah, we could try and have people hold up at Castle Braun or something instead.
I think it's
Maybe.
too soon for that.
Just not in the spider room.
I think it's too soon for that. I think we don't have enough money to just be like, oh, we can totally set up a castle yet. We only have 3,800 gold.
Yes, I am in the process of bringing in domain rules so that, you know, when you get, so usually the standard level, and it's not blanket. Some get it sooner, but the standard level is level 9, and at level 9, that's usually when you can build a stronghold, etc. And there are some things that usually go along with that, because there's some expectations that if you have a stronghold, like you guys have been, especially Wes, has been talking about, hey, Castle Braun's great, we want to take this over. So that would be essentially because none of you actually have, the Emperor's not going to just give you, he's not going to consent to this. So that would be considered, you know, taking the stronghold by right of conquest. Along with that, the lands around that stronghold, the people are going to then expect you guys, or whoever takes over the castle, to essentially be the ruler. And there is a obligation, I guess, is the responsibility of whoever's ruling that you offer those people, you know, protection from bandits and raiders and things of that manner. And in return, of course, those people are going to give you tax income. And there's some other things that go along with it too, like, you know, if you hold a tournament, or, you know, if another noble comes to visit, you know, there are expectations with that. So, like, such and such noble from another kingdom decides to come and visit, they are going to, of course, expect to be, and you see this all the time in movies and shows. Oh, well, we didn't expect you to show up, and, you know, here's Duke so and so that has decided that they need a place to stay, and so they're going to stay in your castle. The reason why that and this kind of goes over to the old golden rule, never show up unannounced, because these nobles, they are going to, of course, expect to be they're going to expect that their regular lifestyle is going to be upheld, and so when they show up, they are going to want servants, are going to want the best food, they're going to want the nicest room possible. That all costs money that has to come out of your coffers to take care of them. Now, usually, that really applies if the noble that is visiting is of higher rank, and of course they almost always inevitably are. But it does go so far as to lower rank nobles that are lower rank than you are, simply because if you were to say, no, fuck off, you're not staying the night here, then that is a ding on your honor, and that can be even more crippling than a war chest that is now light in gold. So, yeah, there's a whole lot. There's a whole other level of role play that's sitting there that has been typically ignored by modern D&D, simply because nobody likes doing the paperwork. We shall be getting into the paperwork. So right now, you guys, you go through and you're like, they stole our shit, they took our jobs, and you kind of write, some of the damage, and being bone tired, you're like, we'll deal with this in the morning, and you get another good night's rest. So if you're still down hit points, go ahead and roll a D6, since Alora's with you, and you can restore some hit points.
Cool.
I think the only one that was down was either Dentry or Jackson.
Yeah.
And of course, you get spell slots back with your resting. And you can change your, if you are a divine caster, you can change, well, any caster, if you got them in your spellbook, you can change your memorized spells for the day as well. So the following morning, you guys get up. What is what's your plan? What are you guys doing in the morning? I mean, you're probably making some breakfast, but aside from that,
we want to stalk these people into the woods and hopefully kill them.
So you're heading for this nobleman's manor, is that?
Yeah, I think we're gonna keep an eye on it. Not like immediately go in. I want to see what we can learn from watching.
Okay.
And
so the manor that we chose to not go to is the guy who came and fucked up our town?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Now I'm even more mad about that.
I know. I was like, hey, let's go to Castle Braun. I really want to go there.
Consequences.
Yeah. Such is life.
Okay, so you guys are heading back out in that direction. Is that your plan there?
Before we head out, we should at least make sure that like anything in the town is taken care of. All the injured have been taken care of and stuff. Since this is partially our fault, we should at least make sure the people in the town are covered and leave some stuff for them to like get foods and things and stuffs. Since they all got cleared out.
So this, of course, down here is at number 12 is your manor, and I'll just put a token there to show that that's your manor. But yeah, so what are you checking on the townspeople? What's your?
I want to hit the inn.
Okay.
I want to hit the inn, check up there because that's where we can get some good information about like how bad things are in town. Because we basically showed up just long enough to put out the fires, not even like really rebuild anything.
Right. So, yeah, the inn has suffered some damage. Mostly, it wasn't put to the torch or anything, but the furniture inside is busted up, and Tekka Crackerbottom and Grandpa Crackerbottom are all manner of upset. Tekka is, being a halfling, Tekka, a redheaded female halfling at that. She has a bit of a temper issue, and she is practically foaming at the mouth about how the tax collectors' men came into town and took basically calling taxes theft, which in the Glossian Empire is not too far from the truth, considering that the tax rate is like 33% of your total value every quarter. So that's the normal tax rate, and it seems like from what you guys have seen, it was way more than that. It was 50 to 75%. They took everything that wasn't nailed down, and they busted up the furniture in the inn, and so Tekka is just piping mad. In fact, when you come into the inn, Tekka is in the process of putting on a belt with a short sword on it, and she's got like a little pot helmet that she had fashioned out of a cooking pot that she's putting on, and and Grandpa's trying to talk her out of it, and she's like, "No, I'm gonna go get our money back. I've had enough of this Duke and the tax collector, and I'm gonna raise an army and march all the way to the capital."
She's gonna need some training first. Like, the raise an army thing's a good idea, but to defend the town, maybe first before you try and invade anybody.
She makes some stabbing motions with her short sword. She goes, "I don't need any training. You just poke them with the pointy end."
If it was that easy for you to do, you'd have defended your town with much ease. However, these are not virgin soldiers you're dealing with, and these are thugs who know what they're doing. Let us handle this.
Grandpa,
we'll take care of them.
Grandpa Crackerbottom puts his hand on her shoulder and he says, "Yes, yes. Listen to Dentry. Remember, you couldn't even deal with the rats in the cellar."
That's true. They are good practice though, and there's probably some again. So like, it's a place to start. I would encourage her to learn to defend herself somewhat for in case they come back.
Apply for a concealed short sword permit.
Yeah, and down and all that.
Concealed crossbow permit. Grandpa comes out, and now I actually have to look it up. Hold on. Is what I'm talking about going to be a thing? Is the question. And I bet it is. It is. So, Grandpa goes over to the large fireplace in the inn tap room, and hanging up on the above the fireplace is this really old blunderbuss, and he pulls it down. It's a matchlock. So, matchlock weapons are a thing in the Glossian Empire. And he's got this old blunderbuss, which is a very, very. It's that. So I don't know if you've ever seen a matchlock pistol, but they almost, when they're so long, you almost look at them and you're like, is that a rifle? No, it's a pistol. The blunderbuss is a little bit, just maybe 2 inches longer than the pistols would be, but the end flares out in a bell shape. and it is basically the early form of the shotgun. And blunderbusses typically were loaded with multiple, with like a fistful of small shot, like a shotgun, but they are renowned for essentially you can load the fucking things with anything. You could pick up a scoop of gravel and drop it into a blunderbuss and shoot it. It's going to have terrible ballistic properties, but it is possible. They're usually used for bird hunting and things of that manner. But, you know, if it's loaded with lead shot, you probably don't want to get shot with it regardless. And so he has this blunderbuss, and he's like, "I'll protect the inn," and he's like, "No, I need to find the matches," and you know, so matchlock weapons, it looks like a normal pirate gun, but the hammer on it actually has a small clamp that you would put in a wick, and this slow burning wick is then lit, and there is a pan, hence the term a flash in the pan. If you have a flash in the pan, it means the powder in the pan flashed and ignited, but it did not ignite the powder in the barrel, and thus there was no boom. And so the wick goes into the hammer, the pan is filled, or the rifle is loaded, the barrel loaded, the pan is filled with black powder, the wick is lit, and then when you pull the trigger, the hammer drops the wick down into the pan, igniting the powder in the pan, which then in turn ignites the powder in the barrel, and you theoretically get boom. And so he's got this old blunderbuss, and he's like, I'll protect the inn. None of those hooligans are going to make their way in here again.
That's freaking awesome.
And Tekka starts to laugh.
Does that thing even still work?
That's what Tekka says. She says, "Grandpa, I don't even think that thing even still works." "Oh, it works. I've taken good care of it."
Can we set something up, some like bottles for practice somewhere? I want to see if it works.
Sure. So he gets a couple of empty jugs and goes out on the porch of the inn, and he loads this thing, and there's this loud boom, and there's a huge cloud of white gray smoke, because you know they don't have smokeless powder, and this thing goes off, and both of these glass jugs explode into a shower. He says, "See, it works fine." And he pulls the hammer back and reloads the blunderbuss. "I'll protect the inn."
Well, I'm impressed. That was cool.
The other thing about matchlock weapons is that they can, well, everything except for a heavy musket, also known as a hand cannon, can be used as a club. They don't have like a typical curved handle on them. The end is pretty much close to straight with a knob carved onto the end of it, and they can be used as a club should close combat come about.
All right. Should we start scouting out towards the manor? Or is that what we should do? I mean, everybody's taking care of
the inn. They're good. Want to swing by the church just to like get a toll of the dead and stuff or whatever like that, or are we gonna go straight out?
I think there were like 5 people dead. Is that right?
There was 6 people that have died in the attack.
Okay.
And so,
wait, okay, actually, Mavis needs a better ranged weapon than a sling.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go shopping.
Okay. And I have that, my master gear list. So, ranged weapons.
That a cleric can use.
Go ahead and roll percentage.
84.
So they don't. So over here at 6 and 7, this is the armor and the blacksmith. They don't have any black powder weapons available for sale, but they do have other stuff.
Okay.
And as far as ranged weapons, where is my... They do have, they've got some crossbows that'll run 30 gold pieces. They've got short bows that run 25. And they've got a couple of longbows that run 40.
I think a crossbow seems like the best thing to go with.
Okay. So yeah, 30 gold pieces for a crossbow and bolts. So a case of 30 bolts will cost you an additional 10 gold pieces.
Okay, let's do that. Okay.
So crossbows do 1d6 damage.
Cool.
They do have the reload trait. And tell you what the reload trait is. I believe they can only be, it can be fired once every other round, is what I believe.
Oh yeah, there was one other thing I just remembered I wanted to do. I wanted to try and get like a metal version of the holy symbol put into my shield so I can just hold that aloft.
Yes, you can do that. So,
Cool.
and I'll tell you what the cost on that is. So crossbows are a two-handed weapon.
Okay.
So you would, if you're going with that, you'll shoulder your shield. But yes, they do have the reload function. They can be fired every 2 rounds.
Okay.
Or every second round. There's a round in between that takes to crank them.
Is cranking it like my action for that round then?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Shit, maybe I should have bought a longbow instead. I don't know if I can use that though. Can I?
You know, I don't know that you can actually use a crossbow now that you've brought it up.
Yeah, I don't know what clerics are allowed to use.
Let me take a look.
Okay.
Because clerics have a specific rule that clerics can only use blunt weapons. So let's see what it says. Yeah, so slings are the best that you can do.
Damn it. Okay. Well, I'll get my money back, I guess. Well, I tried, but I can get my holy symbol shield.
Yes, you can. So your holy symbol shield. So to have your holy symbol placed into your shield, what kind of holy? You have a metal holy symbol?
Yeah.
There was a very specific thing that they said about that. So, typically, stop it. Okay. So it says typically standard holy symbols are assumed to be made of silver, and so it would cost you 25 gold pieces to have that set into the center of your shield.
All right. Let's do it.
Anything that is Alora doing any shopping?
No. I think I'm set. I'm gonna make a violet oil though.
Okay, yeah, well, you've got the jug, so yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty set on everything.
What about Dentry?
I mean, I've got 2 swords and I've got the axes for ranged. I'm generally much more comfortable getting up close and personal.
Yep.
Jackson is not good at the ranged, and he's got his sword, but he does have a longbow if he needs it.
Should we get any
Um,
arrows with like silver tips on them or something?
You could certainly do that.
Because I think that there's like were creatures or vampires or something involved.
How long would it take to silver the tips of arrows? Because Dentry is a Boyer and Fletcher.
Roll a d6. So about 3 hours. So you have to melt down some silver, and you've certainly got plenty of silver coins. You've got plenty of face shells that you could throw into a pot to do that, or you could buy them. One silver-tipped arrow is 5 gold pieces.
And how many would I make in 3 hours?
You could make roll 3d6.
Sorry, it didn't take the first roll off. No, I didn't. Damn it.
Yeah, if you click the auto clear, it solves that.
That makes more sense. There we go. There we go.
So yeah, you can
13.
make 13 arrows, and it will
In 3 hours.
It will take you.
You said 3 hours?
Yeah, it'll take 3 hours, and it will cost you 65 silver pieces that will be melted down and sacrificed to tip these arrows. You could, theoretically, if you wanted to, you could do the same thing and make a silver dagger.
Okay. Although I'm not a blacksmith. I'm only a
Bower and
Fletcher.
Fletcher.
So,
That's
yeah.
right. I thought one of you was a blacksmith. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe one of Wes's characters? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't remember.
So 35 silver, was it?
65.
65. Okay. Okay. 13 silver arrows. Got it.
Okay, so you guys are heading out back into the wilderness.
Can silver, like stones, be used against like a werewolf or something? Like, can you take a stone and put like silver edging on it or whatever?
I would say if you, I don't necessarily.
Or like raw or rough silver?
Yeah, if you had like raw silver ore, yeah, that's gonna do damage against a werewolf.
You know, you could probably sling it as his fucking silver coins.
You could just sling silver coin. Wow, holy shit! Why is that? Oh, I know why that's so big. I was like, holy shit.
The map is so big.
Maybe?
There's some big trees next to that town.
That's a farmstead.
That farmstead is small compared to these trees.
That is just wonkers enormous. I mean, oh well, it serves its purpose. So each one of these hexes is, God, are they all that big? What the fuck? Evidently they are.
Can you zoom out?
I don't think it's map related. I don't think. Let me. That's the wrong one. Apps. Apps. Here we go. This is. Here, I want to edit map size. I think this is that's correct.
Could have taken the blunderbuss and loaded it up with silver.
There we go.
Silver
Now,
shot
sorry,
in the
so,
blunderbuss.
like, why is this so enormous? There we go. So each one of these hexes is 3 miles, and this dotted white line here is the Eastern Tradeway, and of course, up. You guys travel back, and just off the map to the west, across the river, is Castle Braun. So it takes you a good day to get this far again, and you camp for the night, and in the morning, and of course you can roll for the D3 if you're still down hit points. I doubt you probably. I don't know. Entry?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Entry's good now.
And so, and then you can go ahead and keep moving towards. Now, you aren't exactly sure. You saw in the distance when you were at Castle Braun, you could see in the distance, especially the night that you spent up in the tower, you could see that there was light coming from the forest, and you could see on the clearer evening, you could see that there was smoke coming, like from a chimney. So you have a roundabout. Are you heading straight to where you think the manor is, or what are you doing?
We're kind of sneaking up. So through the forests.
Okay. Okay, so...
Well, I mean, we need to get... Is this the manor thing here? Where one is?
Yes.
Oh yeah, then we're gonna definitely have to get out of our wagon.
So
yeah, I think...
So this is the most likely direction from 3 if you're sneaking up on the manor.
Yeah, that seems pretty good.
Here. So you travel another day, kind of moving through the forest. Jackson can make a stealth check. Let me actually look at the ranger. Yeah. So Jackson, roll a D6.
I got a 2.
Nice. So Jackson is pretty much able to keep the party, stealthed, and he's constantly telling people, stay low, move slowly, so that you're not
step where I step,
step where I step, kind of thing, and is able to move into the forest. Where's my shit? There we go. Yeah. There we go. So you're following this game trail up into, up through the edge of the Sylvanas forest, and you guys know that there was a many, many, many years ago, probably over 200 years ago, maybe more like 300 years ago, 250, 300 years ago, there was a I mean, they refer to it as a war, but it was really more of a series of slap fight type skirmishes. And what the issue was is that the town of Braunhaven had they were expanding, they were building, and they basically started foresting and harvesting trees along the edge of the Sylvanus forest, and they got a little overzealous about it, and they were digging, they were cutting trees way deeper into the forest than was comfortable with the elves. The elves have a capital city somewhere in the Sylvanus forest, and the elves didn't like that, and so there were some battles, there was some bloodshed, there were some lives lost, and that went on for a while. But they finally were able to, thanks to the Braun family, they were able to kind of settle that matter, and the agreement. And of course, none of this was really ever put to paper, but the agreement to that was that the people of the Braunhaven region agreed that they wouldn't forest too deeply and just basically leave the forest alone. And they all said, that's fine. You can, we do it. You can take some of the trees from the edge of the forest. You can even do hunting at the edge of the forest. But if you come in too deep, we're going to put a stop to that. And so this is more or less along the edge of the Sylvanus forest, and you can see that the forest itself, the deeper in, starts to get thicker and thicker and thicker with exceptionally large old growth trees. But along this edge, you can see that this is a much newer wood and is far less cultivated. But okay, so there are. Roll a d8.
Who's rolling a d8?
I need to roll a d8. Let's see.
Oh, you need to roll a d8. I was like, who?
8.
Who you want to do this?
Okay. Jackson, roll a. We're gonna make a wisdom. What is Jackson's wisdom?
Jackson's wisdom is not like amazing. His wisdom is 9.
Okay, so roll a d20 and you want to get under 9.
Fuck. Hey!
Okay.
Hold it off.
Okay.
I kind of like that sometimes you want to roll low because it just gives you like you got a dice that always rolls like high. You're like, oh shit, I need to roll low now.
So Jackson is kind of, being a ranger, he's ranging. And he is aware that there are elves about. And he knows he can smell on the wind that there is a very low campfire that has been made. It tends to be more smoke than fire, and he knows that is somewhere off in the distance to the northeast. But as you are ranging, and Jackson is completely aware of this, the rest of you can hear the creaking of a bow being drawn. And from behind a tree, an elf pokes out, and he's got an arrow knocked, and the bow is drawn, and he yells to Jackson. He says, "And what business would folk from Braunhaven have in our forest, eh? Are you brigands attempting to invade, capture, perhaps? Or are you agents of the lord of that manor?"
I am a man of the woods that happens to befriend those in Braunhaven, says Jackson.
The elf. Good. So
I mean, I look like a man of the woods. I'm hairy as hell.
That's true. That's true. Jackson, what's Jackson's charisma?
Low as shit. Jackson has one stat that is good: his strength. Charisma is a freaking 7.
Laura might have to start talking.
Jackson, roll d20 plus 1, and you want to get under 7.
Oh,
nice. Okay.
What the shit?
The elf, he kind of relaxes his grip on the bow, takes the arrow, and sticks it back in his quiver. You also notice that up here, further down the trail, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, is another elf who makes himself known. And the
dice respect my class.
Yes, the elf that you had initially started talking to, he says, "Oh, well, if you're not friends with the asshole that moved into that old manor, then you don't seem to be any kind of problem for the elves." He says,
"Friends? Oh, we're not friends of his at all."
He says, "Come join us. We have a fire and are cooking a deer. I assume that travelers on the road are going to be hungry." And
I look back to the party.
Yeah, let's eat.
Yeah, he moves you guys into the camp. And so he tells you, as you guys are sitting around the campfire, kind of enjoying a meal, he tells you, "The Duke and his retinue arrived 2 moons ago. His guards immediately set to cutting trees from the edge of the forest, which prompted our vigilance. We have not acted due to our treaty with the people of Braunhaven. Work on renovations to that hunting manor ran non-stop for weeks. It was as if their workers never tired and had no need for food, drink, or sleep. My scouts have reported activity late in the evening around the stone statue at the entrance of the manor. Unfortunately, they have not been able to get close enough to investigate this further without risking notice. But 3 nights ago, my scouts spied some of the Duke's guard traveling with a pack of hellhounds. They set upon a farmstead and burned it to the ground. We are unsure if there were any survivors." He says, we
saw the remnants of that, right?
I think you did, yeah. And he says, "We've noted that there have been also Shrivelkin activity in the area has seemed to increase since the Duke arrived. I don't know if those 2 things are related." He says, "This may be a coincidence, but with all the other evidence, I tend to find it a bit odd." He definitely wants to know, what are your intentions? Why are you moving towards the town or towards the manor?
Gentry, without hesitation, says there are throats that need to be slit.
All of the elves kind of look to each other and they're like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, we can get on board with that."
Gentry's pissed though. He's still pissed. Someone has got to pay for this shit.
Well, if what's holding him back is a treaty with the people of Braunhaven, and these guys killed a bunch of people in Braunhaven, then that might be enough to tip them towards helping us.
He says, "Well, generally, the elves of Sylvanas don't don't engage with the affairs of men. But since the hunting manor is on the edge of our forest, that of course is a concern. We are keeping an eye on that entire situation. In fact, we have 2 representatives that, as far as I'm aware, have been invited to a ball at the hunting manor, held by this Duke Bartholomew.
Well, isn't that handy?
I can trust him.
And the Elven Ranger turns and looks at Dentry, and he nods and he says, "We don't trust them either," which is the reason why my scouts have been keeping an eye on that manor.
All right.
For the manor to be destroyed by some that felt just that they were disrespectful to the forest, no one would miss them at Braunhaven.
He says, I agree completely. He says, but like I said, elves don't do anything hastily. And he says, our 2 representatives are agreeing to attend this ball to ascertain what the true motive is behind this this whole situation. He said, we were aware that they sent out a retinue of guards, troops that headed in the direction of the town of Braunhaven. We saw the smoke on the horizon, so we can only assume that something bad has happened to the town. Which, you know, if we're going to be talking about the manner of you know, good versus ill, then quite obviously, you know, that is a notch that isn't in the Duke's favor. But elves do everything in time, and we're waiting for word back.
When did you say this party was?
I'm sorry, what was that?
When is this party?
He says, I believe that it'll happen in 2 nights' time. He says, your party would be, if you could infiltrate that manor and attend the ball, that would be even better, because we could gain even more information. Humans tend to band alike. And he looks to Dentry and he says, no offense intended. He says, but humans tend to band alike and may say things to one another or let things slip that they wouldn't, that they would be more guarded with when around elves, for instance.
And Jackson says, and I know the reverse to be true as well.
That is true as well. And he reaches into his saddlebag and he pulls out and he says, we can't offer you much assistance, but I would like to give you these 2 potions of healing. They can probably serve you better.
Okay. Let me add those to the totals here.
Yep.
Excellent.
And we will go ahead and break here for the day. Let me do
friends.
Quick math. So whatever, well, you'll probably want to wait until next week when Wes is here. Divide up whatever gold you have left. But
now that you've taken half of it,
right? You guys all get 868.5 XP.
868.5 XP.
Yes.
Excellent.
Experience. 868.5.
Okay, it looks like Mavis has leveled up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mavis is going to hit that level 6.
That's pretty cool. I'll have to take a look at that. But I'll do that on my own time.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I'll see you next week.
Oh yeah, that's right. Gentry leveled up after last week's game too. He's level 5 now.
Nice. Yeah, and you got a new combat talent, right?
Yeah. And Jackson might be close to. Let's see here. No, it's not gonna be enough. Jackson's still 4, but yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Well, I will see you guys next week. Hopefully, Wes will have healed up and be back with Borman and Malachi, and we will pick this up next week.
Sounds good. Thanks for playing.
Yeah,
Thanks
I
for
will
hosting.
talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.
You too.